Welcome to this free dance tutorial by Shahrzad Khorsandi to the song Baraye by Shervin Hajipour, presented by Iranian Dance Academy. Don't forget to check out both unique dance interpretations to the song Baraye by Iranian Dance Academy co-founders.
برای توی کوچه رقصیدن، برای ترسیدن به وقت بوسیدن، برای خواهرم، خواهرت، خواهرامون، برای تغییر مغزها که پوسیدن، برای شرمندگی، برای بیپولی، برای حسرت یک زندگی معمولی، برای کودک زباله‌گرد و آرزوهاش، برای این اقتصاد دستوری، برای این هوای آلوده، برای ولیعصر و درختای فرسوده، برای پیروز و احتمال انقراضش، برای سگهای بیگناه ممنوعه، برای گریه های بیوقفه، برای تصویر تکرار این لحظه، برای چهره ای که میخنده، برای دانش آموزا، برای آینده، برای این بهشت اجباری، برای نخبه های زندانی، برای کودکان افغانی، برای این همه برای غیر تکراری، برای این همه شعارهای تو خالی، برای آوار خونه های پوشالی، برای احساس آرامش، برای خورشید پس از شبای طولانی، برای قرصای اعصاب و بیخوابی، برای مرد میهن آبادی، برای دختری که آرزو داشت پسر بود، برای زن زندگی آزادی، برای آزادی، برای آزادی، برای آزادی.
Durud, salam, and hello. I'm Shahrzad, and this is a tutorial for an interpretive dance to the song Baraye by Shervin Hajipour. This song has become an anthem for the revolution that's going on in Iran right now. Just a little background in case you have not been following this up. There is a revolution going on in Iran that's led by young Iranian women. And although it started out as a protest to mandatory hijab, it's become way more than that. The root of the revolution has to do with basic human rights, and especially women's rights, wanting equal rights. So for the last month or so, there have been protests going on all over Iran and also outside of Iran. Unfortunately, in Iran, the authorities respond to these protests violently by arresting, torturing, and killing these young protesters. Hundreds of young people, even children, have been killed so far, and thousands have been arrested. And this includes students in universities. People's homes are broken into, and people are dragged on the street and taken to prison. This is not a technique-based class. It's an interpretive dance, so it's more emotive, and it's meant to be from the heart. So I will share with you my interpretation of this song into movement, and you can feel free to change parts of it if you need to, add to it, take parts out, whatever you need to do, and give it your own flavor so that it really comes from you, because that's what it's really about. We're making a statement here. So this is our attempt to do something, to say something about what is going on. We encourage you to look this up, learn more about what's going on in Iran, find ways to get involved. But definitely as dancers and as artists, this is something we can do, is to bring awareness to what's going on through our dance. And through dance activism, we can raise awareness and try to make a change. The way I like to do interpretive dancing is a little bit less direct, maybe than some other ones you may see. I like to leave a little room for interpretation. So although the movements were choreographed to reflect the words and the poem, the lyrics of the song, you'll find that not every word or phrase has an exact movement that goes with it. And again, feel free to play with it and really make it your own. We're trying to get the feel for what the song is trying to say and let it manifest in our movement. I think it's important to know that the way the lyrics were formed was that the composer and songwriter actually put out the question, why are we doing this? What is the purpose of this revolution? What is it that we're unhappy about? What is it that we want to change? And he received a bunch of responses through social media. And these are what you hear in the lyrics of the song is the people's responses. So Baraye means for, and you'll hear the word Baraye, Baraye, Baraye over and over because the whole song is about for this, for that, for that. And some of those fors, some of those reasons are positive and some are negative, because some will say, we're doing this because this is what we want that we don't have. So it'll be something positive that they're yearning for that they don't have. And some of the fors would be negative things. This is why we're doing this, because these awful things are going on. So you'll hear both positive and negative things in the lyrics. So I think we're ready to start. Let's start with a short warm-up to get our bodies ready. Let's stand with our feet right underneath the hips, knees kind of slightly bent, just released so that you're not locking the knees. Shifting the weight side to side, releasing the spine. Let your head just fall over the spine as your body sways from side to side. And bring your weight to the center. Deep breath in. Exhale. Swing the arms. Releasing the knees. Engaging your core as you do that, making sure you're not holding any tension in your lower back, and you have a neutral spine, meaning you're not arching your back, sticking out your bum, and you're not rounding over, right? So it's a nice neutral spine. Let's step out to a nice big, it's called a second position. Feet flat on the floor. Feel every inch of your feet on the floor and make sure you're centered. Deep breath in. Exhale, bend the knees. And up. Just a couple of knee bends. The muscles to wake up, and this time we're going to stay here and swing, swing, swing the arms. Let your knees release as you swing the arms down. And you can always use your breath. Sometimes it helps to visualize a harness, like you're hanging and lifting. And let's do a full circle. And reverse the arms. Keep grounded in the feet. All right. And now we're going to do one arm. Let's bring the feet a little bit closer in. And we're going to let the spine connect with the arm. This is one important thing. Well, it's very important in dance, in my opinion, altogether, but especially if you're being emotive, because you want to feel the movement in the entire body so that you're not just disconnecting the arm, right? The whole body is moving. Release the knees, let the spine go with the arm. This is slow motion. And you could try this slow just to get a sense of that connection. The timing of when the knees bend. When you do it really slow, it's almost like Tai Chi. Everything goes together. But eventually, you want to be able to play with that momentum and the pulse and the breath. Let's try it with the other arm. So arm is connected to the spine, which is connected to the head, and the legs are also connected in the way the knees release and the legs bend and straighten. Okay, let's do one more thing. We're going to do a little contraction here. So contraction is a hollowing out of your middle. It's a very emotive movement. It was developed by Martha Graham. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, hollow out from the middle. Try not to hold tension in your shoulders. I notice a lot of times when people do contractions, they do this, but it's not in the shoulders, it's down here. It's like someone is pulling you from the back, right? So let's take a breath in and contract. And release. All right, make sure your feet are warmed up. If you need to do some lunges, we can do that. I'll just do a little bit here. That's if your knees feel okay. Lunges are always nice. Let the inside of your legs stretch to the other side. And let's bring the feet together right here and come on up. All right, make sure if you need to do anything extra for yourself, if you have any sensitive areas in your body that you need to take care of, go for it and come back and we'll get started on the choreography. The first words in the lyrics are, for dancing in the street, for fear of a kiss, for my sister, your sister, our sisters. So for dancing in the street, I'm imagining, how does it feel when you're free to just dance in the street? There is a sense of freedom to it where I imagine running down the street, turning, throwing your arms out. So what I do is I just sort of do a little run in and turn and then throw my arm out. Now you don't have to do the exact turn that I did. You could do a different turn. You could throw both arms out. So again, just interpret it however way you want to so that it feels right. But this is how I'm doing it. For dancing in the street, arm. And then the arms come in and wrap around and I do a head circle. So this is for fear of a kiss. You could, the way you wrap your arms around you, you could imply the fear in that if you want. Or you could just make it a nice, cozy, wonderful feeling of a kiss, and the fear could be implied in the lyrics. From here, step out, turn, reach, clap, bring the arms in, body roll. Let's do that again. Arms wrap, head circle, step out, bring the left arm over the head, reach with the left, clap with the right, bring the arms in, and body roll. I like to put this together with the words خواهرم، خواهرت، خواهرامون. My sister, your sister, our sisters, so that as you're reaching, you reach خواهرم، خواهرت، خواهرامون. Just because I like how that feels. So let's do the whole thing one time and then we'll do it with music. Turn, throw the arm out, wrap, turn with the left arm, reach, clap. Okay, let's try that with music. It's a little intro at the beginning. You can just sort of get into the mood. You can walk around, whatever you feel like doing.
برای توی کوچه رقصیدن، برای ترسیدن به وقت بوسیدن، برای خواهرم، خواهرت، خواهرامون، برای برای توی کوچه رقصیدن، برای ترسیدن به وقت بوسیدن، برای خواهرم، خواهرت، خواهرامون، برای.
The next part, he says, for changing corroded minds, for the shame of poverty, for yearning for a normal life, for the scavenger child and his dreams, for this forced economy, for the polluted air. A lot to take in. So this next part of the choreography is all on the floor. If you don't feel comfortable going down there, or if you have bad knees or bad hips or anything like that, modify it. You can do the arm movements, basically do a modified version of the movement where you're standing up and maybe just bending your knees. Otherwise, let's do this next part together. So we just finished here with the body roll. I'm going to cross my left foot over the right foot, lifting up the left elbow, go around, swing the body around, and rotate the arms so that you end up with the left elbow on top. So when you do it quickly, it looks like this. There's a momentum to it, right? So I'm just doing this with the arms and then making sure that I end up back with the left elbow on top when I'm finished. So let's do this together from the body roll. Cross, swing around. Here, I'm going to open my hands and very deliberately bring the hands together by intertwining my fingers. As I do that, I'm going to melt down to the floor with my right foot front, left foot back until I'm sitting down. And as I get into that sitting position, I bring the hands in front of my chest. My hands are clasped, and I do 2 thumps on my chest. 1, 2, and then release with tension and open the chest up. From here, I'm going to swing around, facing on the diagonal, hand on the floor. I do left and then right, doesn't matter, you can do right and then left. Bring it in, and then release with an arch. Swing the left hand in to cover the mouth, and this is with the body. Right hand over the head and make this a circle that goes into a sort of a little rolling on the floor, and then here we stand up. And the way you stand up, it's as if you're focused somewhere, and I'll tell you, this goes into the next part. I'll tell you the reason for that. But when we're standing up, we're looking as if we're drawn to something that way. Let's go back and review all this floor stuff. So we just finished with the body roll, cross, swing the arms around, melt, 2 thumps on the chest, open, swing around, hands on the floor, bring them up, release, and swing. Mouth over the head, circle, and roll, stand, and look like you're getting ready to run. Okay, let's try this whole section with music.
بوسیدن برای خواهرم، خواهرت، خواهرامون، برای تغییر مسواک پوسیدن، برای شرمندگی، برای بیپولی، برای حسرت یک زندگی معمولی، برای کودک زباله‌گرد و آرزوهاش، برای این اقتصاد دستوری، برای این هوای آلوده، برای ولی.
Why don't we do that one more time? I know there's a lot of stuff on the floor. So let's try that. And again, if you need to modify it, not do everything down on the floor or do something different on the floor, that's fine too.
به وقت بوسیدن برای خواهرم، خواهرت، خواهرامون، برای تغییر مسواک پوسیدن، برای شرمندگی، برای بیپولی، برای حسرت یک زندگی معمولی، برای کودک زباله‌گرد گرد و آرزوهاش برای این اقتصاد دستوری، برای این هوای آلوده، برای ولیعصر و درختای، برای توی کوچه رقصیدن، برای ترسیدن به وقت بوسیدن، برای خواهرم، خواهرت، خواهرامون، برای تغییر مغزها که پوسیدن، برای شرمندگی، برای بیپولی، برای حسرت زندگی معمولی، برای کودک زباله‌گرد و آرزوهاش، برای این اقتصاد دستوری، برای
Okay, this next section is going to take a little bit of explaining, but I'm not going to explain too much. I'd like you to look up some of those stories for yourself as well. So he says, for Vali Asr and its wilted trees. Vali Asr is the name of a street, a boulevard. I remember it as a child. It was a long boulevard with beautiful trees just lining up on both sides, almost like a tunnel. And it just gives you this wonderful feeling. It's a big boulevard and the trees are tall. So you feel both, safe and protected, but also just in awe of these trees and just the beauty of the street. And people walk up and down it. And so he's saying Valias and it's wilted trees. So these trees are now wilted. It's not the same anymore. For Piruz and his probable extinction, Piruz, I'll let you look this up, but Piruz is the name of a little cub, a family of felines that were becoming extinct, and there's a story that goes with that. For the innocent forbidden dogs, and this has another story as well, but it's about dogs being put down by the government because there are too many of them, and I'm guessing that it might also have to do with the fact that dogs are najas or haram in Islam. I'm not sure, you can look this up, but it's about basically animals not being taken care of. So rather than taking care of them, making sure they don't go extinct, they're being allowed to go extinct, rather than taking care of them, getting them off the street and making sure they're healthy and safe, they're being put down to get them out of the way. And for untimely tears, which is self-explanatory. So we're over here, we just got off the floor, and the words are for Vali Asr and its wilted trees. So when I get up off the floor here on a diagonal, I'm envisioning this long boulevard with these beautiful trees, which is, what I remember. And I start running as if I'm running down the street, enjoying the trees. And then it dawns on me, or I see these trees wilt, and I do that. So this, to me, this is sort of like a wilted tree, right, if you will. So I'm running, and then there's that moment of like you hit a wall, right? All of a sudden the reality is a slap in the face that those beautiful trees are now wilted. And I fall from that, I'm trying to get away from that. I run back this way, and I hit another wall. And this one, there's a little bit of that contraction, and it's not a soft and deep contraction, it's a very sharp one that stops your body short. And I'm doing this with the arms, and I just completely freeze for a moment. So it's that feeling of you're trying to deal with things, you're trying to run away from things, and you just keep hitting walls. You keep hitting like a brick wall where your flow is stopped and you don't know what to do. And then from here, I start to dissolve out of that and slowly back away. This right hand becomes symbolic here. It becomes a hand of authority. And I look up at it as if it's telling me what to do, is forcing me to do things. And it becomes like a claw. And it sort of draws my body up and comes down slowly on my head, pushing me down. So this is sort of a reaction to all those things that are going on. Everything in our environment, the trees are wilting, the animals are dying, the people can't do what they want to do, the economy's awful, the air is polluted. Everywhere you go, you hit a brick wall and you feel like you're just sinking and someone's pushing you down. So again, the movements are from standing up on a diagonal, run, fall back, slowly walk out of that, look at the right hand, fear and tension, I pull this foot in and then melt down with that claw on my head, and my right elbow is up. You want to have this elbow up because we're going to do something with that in a minute. All right, let's do this section with music.
این هوای آلوده برای ولیعصر و درختای فرسوده برای فیروز و احتمال انقراضش برای سگهای بیگناه ممنوعه برای گریه های بیوقفه برای این هوای آلوده برای ولیعصر و درختای فرسوده برای فیروز و احتمال انقراضش برای سگهای بیگناه ممنوعه برای گریه های بیوقفه برای توی کوچه رقصیدن برای ترسیدن به وقت بوسیدن برای خواهرم خواهرت خواهرامون برای تغییر مغزها که پوسیدن برای شرمندگی برای بیپولی برای حسرت یک زندگی معمولی برای کودک زبالگرد و آرزوهاش برای این اقتصاد دستوری برای این هوای آلوده برای ولیعصر و درختای فرسوده برای پیروز و احتمال انقراضش برای سگهای بیگناه ممنوعه برای گریه های بیوقفه.
Next section says, for the image of reliving this moment, for the smiling face, for the students, for the future. For the image of reliving this moment can be interpreted in a couple of different ways. I believe the person who sent this to the songwriter also included a picture of a really nice, pleasant moment, parent and child enjoying the moment together. So it could be interpreted as reliving, the wish to relive these moments of just joy and comfort and peace. This is what we want more of. It could also be interpreted as horrible images and the fear of reliving them, the image that gets stuck in your head and you just keep reliving those horrible movements, which is how I chose to interpret it. There's an image in particular that is really powerful and is just in my mind, and I had to include it in the dance. And that's an image of this dancer, Iranian dancer in the community named Hadis. She has this video of her back to the camera and she's putting her hair in a quick little bun just like this, really quick, and she runs off. There's actually an animated version of that was a statement after she was shot and killed in the protest. And this beautiful animation, and it's just a line drawing, but beautifully done. It shows exactly that. We see from the back, we see her putting her hair in a quick bun, and she runs off into just a black screen. You don't see anything. And then you hear gunshots and just splatter of blood on the black screen. Very powerful image. So that's what I chose to put here. That's for the image of reliving this moment, for the smiling face, because she also had a beautiful smile and she used to put her dances on Instagram, smiling and dancing. So I have a picture of her smiling face and I have that image of her putting her hair up and running off. And that's one of the last things that we saw from her. If you don't have that same kind of connection, feel free to replace that with something else that means something to you, that you connect with. So let's take it from this claw of oppression, pushing down on you. Right elbow is up. I'm going to take this left hand and I'm going to shoot it through, kind of needle that through, force the arm down, swing the arms up, and slowly rotating my body a little bit this way and doing a little hop. Now you don't have to do this particular hop, you can do any kind of hop or jump, but mainly you want to go through and then some kind of hop, come out of it. Here, it's meant to be seen from the back, so you look in the mirror, quick hair in the bun. Take a couple of steps and boom. So this could be like a slap in the face, getting shot, whatever, however you want to look at it. I'm running with momentum. I do this with my left hand. You can do it with your right hand. You can do it this way, whatever feels comfortable, but whatever hand you do this with, you should have that foot in front. So I have my left foot in front and I take my left hand and my hand goes right across my face here. My head turns, shoulders, everything turns and twists and you drop down. I have my right foot and left hand in front. From here, draw the energy up from the ground and punch and look up. This is for the students for the future. So again, from here, sharp through and hop and hair, run, fist, up. Let's do it with music.
گریه های بیوقفه برای تصویر تکرار این لحظه برای چهره‌ای که میخنده برای دانش آموزا برای آینده برای این بهشت اجبار.
And don't worry too much about the timing. You don't have to hit this on any particular part. It really feels right anywhere around that area.
گریه های بیوقفه برای تصویر تکرار این لحظه برای چهره‌ای که میخنده برای دانش آموزا برای آینده برای این بهشت اجبار.
And don't worry too much about the timing. You don't have to hit this on any particular part. It really feels right anywhere around that area.
توی کوچه رقصیدن برای ترسیدن به وقت بوسیدن برای خواهرم خواهرت خواهرامون برای تغییر مغزها که پوسیدن برای شرمندگی برای بیپولی برای حسرت زندگی معمولی برای کودک زبالگرد و آرزوهاش برای این اقتصاد دستوری برای این هوای آلوده برای ولیعصر و درخت‌های فرسوده برای پیروز و احتمال انقراضش برای سگ‌های بیگناه ممنوعه برای گریه‌های بیوقفه برای تصویر تکرار این لحظه برای چهره‌ای که میخنده برای دانش آموزا برای آینده.
For this forced paradise, for the imprisoned intellects, for Afghan children, for the unending force, for all these hollow chants, for the collapse of flimsy houses. So forced paradise, I believe, refers to religion. Most religions say if you do certain things, you go to hell, certain things you go to heaven. When you have a government that is not secular, it's a religious government, not only the things that would supposedly take you to hell are illegal, but also the things that you do that take you to heaven are forced upon you. So whether or not you even believe in paradise, it's forced upon you. The imprisoned intellects, many prisoners are political prisoners, not for committing a crime like stealing or killing or hurting someone, but very intelligent people, educated people who speak too loud. They make too much sense and they possibly say things against the government, and so they're imprisoned. So there are a lot of intellectuals that are political prisoners. For Afghan children, for the unending force, meaning there's so many reasons for this, for that, unending. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many reasons, so many wrongs that need to be righted. For all these hollow chants, and I think the hollow chants refers to the government forcing people to chant death to America, death to the great Satan, in any big gathering, especially right after the revolution in the early days, to try to show to the world or create this illusion that the mass population in Iran actually believed that. So in big, huge events and anything that was broadcasted, people were actually forced to say those things, and those are the hollow chants. For the collapse of flimsy houses in a country where you can't even trust the government to protect you in your own home. You can't even be safe in your own home because there are either no laws that protect, the building codes that protect the house from, protect you from being crushed in your own home, from the house coming down on your head, or there's just so much corruption that you can bribe your way into building a house that is really not appropriately built. So I think that's what that refers to. There are a lot of incidents have happened where houses have come down on people's heads because they just weren't built correctly and up to code, because probably the people building it didn't want to spend the money, and they bribed their way into building the house anyway. So that's what that refers to. All right, so let's dance this. We're here. This next movement is a fanning of the arms, where we're going to start by just swinging this arm out. I'm going to step out to the right and bring the foot in. And then from here, we'll go into the fan. So what I'm doing is I'm fanning my arm open and close, and I'm expanding my body and then contracting it. And I'm going from one side to the other. Now, I do this at different levels, so sometimes I'll go out like this, and sometimes I'll go kind of maybe halfway, and then up overhead. So you can play with that. This is open, and I'm not sure exactly how many times I do this, and there's no particular timing or rhythm to it, so it just depends on how fast you do it. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go around myself. So as I step and slide the foot in, I'm kind of pivoting around in a circle around myself until I'm back to center. And we start that from here, out to the right, and then to the left. And you decide what level you want to take your arms. And then when we finish, the last one comes down into a contraction. Okay, so that was here. And this could go either direction. And then from here, we're going to shoot out like this. I'm staying low. My knees are still bent. I'm just going from here to throwing my head back, throwing my arms back. And then here, I'm going to do a slow and deep contraction in here. Remember that hollowing out? Contract. The head stays back, and it comes down slowly as the hands come to cover the face, just as you get down. Now, here I like to use my face, because that's a part of the body too, and there could be a lot of expression in it. You don't have to, just it's up to you. This was my way of really showing my anguish that I feel when I think about all those things in this section of the lyrics. So what I do is from here, I actually show anguish on my face. So again, it's up to you if you want to do that, or just keep a neutral face and just do the contraction, because the body shows that anguish in the contraction anyway. So then from here, there's so much anguish that you just can't take it anymore, and you just release down for a moment. So this is completely loose like a rag doll. Then the left elbow goes up and it pulls the body up. Hand on the shoulder, 2 quick rounds, and then take your words and you look at your words. Here's the hollow chants. Grab the words, take them to the other side, and reflect. There's nothing there. So again, from here, up, around, and then here I do a punch. This is a punch of anger. It could be that you're angry at the hollowed words, or however way you want to interpret that. And this actually is a punch here, but it also transfers to a punch in the gut here, so that it goes boom, cross the foot, bring it in. That momentum takes you around, and then you fall into a run in a circle while you're in that position. And this is my feeling about not even feeling safe in your own home, not trusting that the people that are like, in a way, like our parents, right, running the government and having these rules of, supposed to have these rules of safety, you can't trust them to even keep you safe in your own home. That is a punch in the gut. So from here, punch, gut, run until you're centered. And we'll stop here for this section. Okay, so let's do that whole thing one more time. We are here, and throw, fan in a circle. Down, shoot out, contract, release down, elbow up, and this happens kind of fast. Words, hollow chant, punch, gut, run, and stop. Okay, let's do this with music.
تصویر تکرار این لحظه برای چهره‌ای که میخنده، برای دانش آموزا، برای آینده، برای این بهشت اجباری، برای نخبه های زندانی، برای کودکان افغانی، برای این همه برای غیر تکراری، برای این همه شعارهای تو خالی، برای آوار خونه های پوشالی، برای احساس آرام. تصویر تکرار این لحظه برای چهره‌ای که میخنده، برای دانش آموزا، برای آینده، برای این بهشت اجباری، برای نخبه های زندانی، برای کودکان افغانی، برای این همه برای غیر تکراری، برای این همه شعارهای تو خالی، برای آوار خونه های پوشالی، برای احساس آرام، برای توی کوچه رقصیدن، برای ترسیدن به وقت بوسیدن، برای خواهرم، خواهرت، خواهرامون، برای تغییر مغزها که پوسیدن، برای شرمندگی، برای بیپولی، برای حسرت زندگی معمولی، برای کودک زباله‌گرد و آرزوهاش، برای این اقتصاد دستوری، برای این هوای آلوده، برای ولیعصر و درخت‌های فرسوده، برای پیروز و احتمال انقراضش، برای سگ‌های بیگناه ممنوعه، برای گریه‌های بیوقفه، برای تصویر تکرار این لحظه، برای چهره‌ای که میخنده، برای دانش آموزا، برای آینده، برای این بهشت اجباری، برای نخبه های زندانی، برای کودکان افغانی، برای این همه برای غیر تکراری، برای این همه شعارهای تو خالی، برای آوار خونه های پوشالی، برای احساس.
Okay, we're at the last section. For feeling peace, for sunlight after long nights, for pills for nerves and insomnia, for men, homeland, prosperity, for the girl who wished she was a boy, for women, life, freedom, for freedom, for freedom, for freedom. Feeling peace, sunlight after long nights, those are self-explanatory. For pills for nerves and insomnia, For the last 4 decades, I've heard a lot about people having to take pills for their nerves, losing hair. When you're in pain, you have to do what you have to do to take care of yourself, even if it's a temporary kind of Band-Aid solution. So a lot of people have even gotten addicted to drugs for that reason. Men Homeland Prosperity is sort of, it goes along with Women Life Freedom. Women Life Freedom, Zan Zindagi Azadi, is the main anthem, the leading anthem for this revolution. And so the second part to that is Mard Mihan Abadi, which means Men Homeland Prosperity. The girl who wished she was a boy. When you live in a place where you're not treated equally, and that's true probably all over the world, but in some places more than others, it's not a surprise that growing up as a girl, you wish you were a boy so that you could do the things that you want to do. So that's where that comes from. Women Life Freedom, last section, let's do this. So we just came around and we stop, our hands are here. This is the feeling of peace. Just dissolve the hands, let your hands open over your body and just breathe out, feeling of peace. This next part, I like to do one arm and then the other and hit these positions of perfect symmetry. Especially this last position kind of reminds me of the old ancient ruins, things that make me feel grounded, very symmetric. This is about the sun after the long night. So it's the idea that everything's perfect the way it should be. So here, here, here. And I'm opening chest up, looking up. Then this part is my feeling about the pills for nerves, right? Again, you do what you need to do to take care of yourself. So pills for your nerves, it's like you're caressing yourself. Insomnia, trying to get some peace. And then this just feels wonderful to caress your face with the back of your hand. Lift your whole body up. Look up. Men, homeland, prosperity. For the girl who wished she was a boy. And this is another punch. This is a repeat of what we did earlier. So you can think of it as, okay, feminine movement, right? And what's a masculine movement? What are boys supposed to do? Boys are supposed to punch. Girls don't punch, right? So this is very feminine here. And then here, all of a sudden, again, this is like a reflection. I can't punch, but I want to punch, but I'm a girl. I wish I was a boy so that I could do this. Just like before when we did this and you cross the feet, except that instead of coming down here into your gut, you bring the arms in and you hit this position. And I try to hit this when I do it right on the word zan, which means woman. For me, the choice to do this has a couple of meanings. One is that this is what causes a lot of this inequality. This here is where we're different, and so we're treated differently. Our face should be our identity, and yet our identity seems to be a couple of feet lower. And the two hands being there, they make a connection, like identity. Also, it has that feeling like you're hiding behind something, like you're ashamed of who you are, and you're hiding your identity. So it's both of those things. But I don't do it in a shameful way. I do it in a strong way, kind of against that. Like, yes, this is how it's been, but I am grounded and strong despite this. So let's go back a little bit. Let's actually go back to this piece. Boom, boom. There's no particular rhythm or timing with this. And you could do either right hand or left hand first, it doesn't matter. And caress your face up. Perfect. Feminine. make a fist, masculine, and boom. And here you can land with both feet here, but it's okay if you're turning around and you end with one foot back, that's okay too. Here, we're gonna bring the hands towards each other, towards your heart, and then total freedom. As you do that, cross one foot over the other, whichever one you want, depending on which way you want to turn. And as you do this, you turn, and this whole ending section is turns. If you like whirling and you want to just turn the whole time, that's totally fine. I like to turn for a little bit, and then I like the feeling of running in a circle and doing these suspended turns. The suspended turns really give me that feeling of freedom because there's that moment where you're completely suspended, and it's a really nice feeling. So I like running and just doing a couple of turns like that. It's up to you. One way I did this that was a live protest, and because there were a lot of people who were singing, this last part especially was very powerful. I just did a little bit of that, and then at the very end, it just felt right to take the energy from people singing and bring it in and end with that one symbolic kind of fighting for freedom movement. So it's totally up to you how you want to end it. If you want to just sort of bask in that turning, you can just keep doing that until the music fades. You can come to a stillness, you can take a deep breath in and ground yourself with it. It's however way you want to end it. So let's do this last section together.
میهن آبادی برای دختری که آرزو داشت پسر بود برای زن زندگی آزادی برای آزادی برای آزادی میهن آبادی برای دختری که آرزو داشت پسر بود برای زن زندگی آزادی برای آزادی برای آزادی
Why don't we do the whole thing together?
برای توی کوچه رقصیدن برای ترسیدن به وقت بوسیدن برای خواهرم خواهرت خواهرامون برای تغییر مغزها که پوسیدن برای شرمندگی برای بیپولی برای حسرت یک زندگی معمولی برای کودک زباله‌گرد و آرزوهاش برای این اقتصاد دستوری برای این هوای آلوده برای ولیعصر و درختای فرسوده برای پیروز و احتمال انقراضش برای سگهای بیگناه ممنوعه برای گریه های بیوقفه برای تصویر تکرار این لحظه، برای چهره ای که میخنده، برای دانش آموزا، برای آینده، برای این بهشت اجباری، برای نخبه های زندانی، برای کودکان افغانی، برای این همه برای غیر تکراری، برای این همه شعارهای تو خالی، برای آوار خونه های پوشالی، برای احساس آرامش، برای خورشید پس از شبای طولانی، برای قرصای اعصاب و بیخوابی، برای مرد میهن آبادی، برای دختری که آرزو داشت پسر بود، برای زن زندگی آزادی، برای آزادی، برای آزادی، برای آزادی.
I hope this video tutorial has helped you express your feelings about the situation in Iran and about human rights in general. Let's keep dancing because together we really can make positive changes happen. Thank you so much for being with us and we hope to see you again. زن زندگی آزادی، مرد میهن آبادی. خدا نگهدار.